Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. Well, again, time has been at a premium, and I was trying to edit up a husbandry video for a certain species, but I don't think I'm going to have the time. However, it was feeding day, so I had Billy come up with the camera, and we did a little update / feeding video. So yes, it's another feeding video, but I know a lot of folks really like them. Plus, there's a lot of species featured in this video that people have been asking me for updates for quite some time. So we kind of killed two birds with one stone. For those who like feeding videos, get to see some tarantulas munch on some crickets and maybe a roach. And for those who don't like feeding videos, you'll get some updates on some of my specimens, including the Poecilotheria formosa that had the trouble molting last time. We got a little update with her at the end. So enough of me talking. Let's check out some tarantulas munching on crickets. All right, first up, we have one of the Xenesthis species. This is Xenesthis species blue. I have 3 of these. All of the Xenesthis have multiple times. So these will be updates on them after the molts. I've had a lot of people asking me what the difference are between the species. And to be completely honest, I have, oh, that's gross. I have no idea for some of these. Little dainty one there. Now, I do have a blue that is currently burrowed that is showing more of the blue on the legs. It's quite the stunning spider. These guys don't quite have that blue sheen to the legs yet, or this one here doesn't, or neither does the other one we're going to feed in a minute. But beautiful spiders nonetheless. They're starting to get those purples on the carapace, just really amazing looking animals. And just a full disclosure, we're going to be going and doing the water dishes afterwards. I always have people go, you left the water dish empty. That's because if we were to stop and do all the water dishes during the feeding video, this thing would be like 3 hours long. So I will go back later. It is hot in here, hence the condensation on my hands. All right. Yeah, these guys are the ones I think that are honestly causing me to itch all the time, which is why I have my sleeves all the way down, something I usually don't do. All right, we have another, this here is Xenesthis species bright, which you'll see looks a lot like Xenesthis species blue. There we go. They really are gorgeous. It's that purple carapace with the dark legs, just looks so nice. And here we have another Xenesthis species blue. These guys are terrible. I gotta get this molt out of here too. Oh, there we go. They're being so dainty. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Well, Billy gets hopefully a nice close up of. Oh yeah, there we go. Gorgeous spiders. And again, not showing the blue yet, but hopefully soon enough we'll start doing a little bit of the blue. So there's just something about the purple on the carapace, or the purplish pinks with the black and then the red on them, really makes them striking. All right, next one up, we have Xenesthis species megascopula. This one's not showing any of the Xenesthis colors yet. This one might not. No, I think this one will eat. Let's see. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was hoping to get some of the Xenesthis rolls. A lot of times they'll roll over on their backs. I've had many of them do it on several different occasions. This one's starting to get some colors in. It's a different coloration on the femurs. It looks like almost like a pinkish on the femurs. And again, I've had people asking me what the difference are between the different species, as in species like we don't know what they are, the locale colorations or whatever, and I'm, you know, kind of curiously watching them grow up to see if there's any difference between the adults, or if it's just ones that are grabbed from different locales that may be the same species. So like what goes on with Panthobeteus, what goes on with, what is the other one they do it with? Sometimes Formictopus. All right, here we have Xenesthis species white. Nope. Ooh. That one's looking beautiful. They're just so different looking than the other, like large tropical species. And you can see how long those legs are. That's about 5 inches, but she doesn't look, it looks like a juvenile spider, but huge 5-inch long leg span. Now they obviously bulk up as they get a little bit older. Oh, easy, but for now, little gangly girls, and they can use those legs. They are very, very fast. All right, here we have Xenesthis species tenebris. And let me get a cricket ready. And you want a cricket. Whoa, there we go. Ooh, this one's definitely got a different look to it, a lot darker overall. It's got those dark legs, but the carapace is more of Almost like a burgundy. Wow. Again, I'm kind of embarrassed. It took me so long to get into these guys, but I made up for it by grabbing just about every one I could find. We'll get this molt out of here. That's Xenesthis species tenebris. All right, and here we have everybody's favorite big fluff ball, the Nhandu tripepii, that I just had to use a brush to get off the side of the enclosure to try to feed her, and she tried to eat the brush. So let's see if she feels like eating. Yep. I love this girl. She's so crazy and fluffy. You're going to want to eat that. There you go. Eat the cricket. Here's another cricket. There you go. She's being dainty. Oh. Just so, and this time she's more of a strawberry blonde. Like really picked up some reddish highlights there. I've got, I believe, 5 juveniles now that I'm raising up, the biggest of which is about 4 inches. So coming down the, coming up down the road will be a full husbandry video for these guys. This is one I've been reluctant to do a husbandry video on because when I got her from Tom Patterson several years ago, she was already about 4 inches. So she was well started. So that doesn't prove I can keep these guys correctly. However, for babies that I picked up that were tiny little slings are now robust juveniles. So I think it's time to kind of revisit it and I can finally do the husbandry video that I've been dying to do on them. So here we have Nhandu, I always want to put an R in there, Nhandu tripepii. Beautiful girl. All right, here we have Theraphosa blondi. I'm going to try feeding her a dubia without crushing its head because that's gross and I'm not feeling into it right now. I don't feel like killing anything. Oh, there we go. This is the one we recently did a rehousing video on that has acclimated very, very well. Gorgeous spider. She's pushing, I think she's around 9 inches or so. And she's not even full grown. I mean, she could easily, I'm guessing this one will hit at least the 10-inch mark. Possibly within the next molt. We'll see how it goes. But gorgeous spiders, not quite as tricky to keep as they were originally made out to be. Again, I just did my little short video on them to try to do the YouTube Shorts thing. I did the husbandry video on them, but hoping more people give them a try because they're not as bad as they were made out to be. And if you look at the water dish over here, actually, people that use springtails, look at them go. Those are actually springtails in the water dish. They're coming up here and getting into the water dish. I keep scooping them out and putting them back in there, but they crave moisture, and I didn't realize they'll sit there and mate right on top of the water dish. So for people that are asking if I use springtails, there they are. Man, that's kind of creepy. Holy moly. Look at them all. A little extra bonus for this one. I saw those sitting, they basically congregate in a little batch right in the middle of the water dish, but as soon as the light hits them, they sometimes disperse. So anyway, back to the whole point of this. There is the Theraphosa blondi, Goliath Birdeater, considered to be the heaviest spider in the world, or the one with the most mass. Possibly, we'll see if we can break the Guinness Book of World Records with this one, see if we can get her over a foot. All right, next up we have T. vagans, another one that just molted this summer. I was waiting for this molt. Love these spiders. It's just something about a black spider, especially where it's got those red hairs on the booty. And this one's usually a voracious eater, as evidenced by that grab right there. I'm going to give her a couple today. Now these guys, sometimes they often make beginner species lists because they grow quickly, they're easy to keep, but there's been some question about the temperament. I've been very lucky that mine have been skittish, but I wouldn't call them ferocious or particularly defensive, but others report that they have very defensive ones. We're gonna give her one more. There you go. Fatten up, girl. Now I will say this time around, the last time she molted, she had a bright red booty. This time it's a little more muted, but those velvety blacks on there are just stunning. Beautiful girl. And I'm going to be getting her into a different enclosure. This was kind of one to hold her for the time being. I want to get her something a little prettier. So there we go. T. vagans. Remember? Oh. Ooh, she is popping. Here we got my Brachypelma, boehmet, baehmet, burmy. Pick one. It's going to happen again. Somebody's going to chime in with the correct pronunciation. I'm just tired of arguing over it, honestly. And she is usually a great eater. She just molted this summer. You can see those fiery legs, which I believe that, what is it, Fireleg? That might be the actual common name of the spider. So I'm terrible with the oh, no, you want to eat that. And here she is just kind of posing atop of the spider. She'll eat that one later, but just love the looks of these. I have another one that's named Lazarus. That was the one that we thought was dead when we got it. And Lazarus is probably a Bamey Brachypelma. No, Baumgartney. Brachypelma is different. That's geniculata. Baumgartney hybrid. It seems a pretty good authority that it was one of the ones that was produced several years ago where somebody purposely hybridized them. But this is the pureblood one. Hopefully you can see much more red on those knees compared to my other one. And when she molts, she is just spectacular looking. There's just something about that red, deep red orange against the black femurs just really makes them pop. A gorgeous spider. These guys are a little, they are a lot of high strung. This was the first spider that ever haired me, was the Baumgartney Bamey hybrid, and she's always been very skittish and quick to kick hairs. This one has also been very kicky, although she seemed to calm down a little bit after her last molt. They're quick, they're fast growing, but they're also quite fast compared to some of the other Brachypelma species, which can turn off folks that are just getting into the hobby and looking for something a little more laid back. So just a heads up there. But gorgeous spiders, and obviously somebody that's aware of the fact they can be a little more high strung, that plays it hands off, could do just fine with them. So Bamey, take your pick. All right, so this one here I hope will behave. This is Autumn, the auratum. Hey, there you go. This one has been, I love this thing, and it's taken so much to grow up. When I got her, she was like a 1/4 inch sling, absolutely tiny. Took forever to grow up, took forever for those adult colorations to show up. But I love Halloween, and for some reason this spider reminds me of Halloween. I mean, even more so than some of the other ones. I think it's just the little patches there. It just reminds me of candy corn or something. But this one I have sexed out. I'm going to grab the molt now. She did just molt, and it's all stuck up in here. And she does have the female parts, but she's been much thinner than some of my other Brachypelma species, which has caused some people to speculate that it's a male. Remember, the males sometimes don't get all gangly and everything until their final molt. I've had spiders that look exactly the same as the females until that last molt, and then they gangle up a bit. I just made that term up, gangling up. But awesome spider. She eats well. She grows now that she's put on some size, she actually grows a little more quickly, but it took me a long time to get her from that 1/4 inch mark to over an inch. But once she hit that, she made more gains with each molt, which is great because, again, these guys are gorgeous. You don't see them around all that often, and those adult colors are just spectacular, especially if you like Halloween. So there we go, Brachypelma auratum. I'm going to turn around and get a little glimpse of her front with that cricket in it. There we go. Aesthetically, I just like that view from the front. Billy's going to hit me because I'm being picky about our camera angles. But you can't because we're on film.
You want that?
No, okay, no. Brachypelma auratum. All right, so this, this one here is my Brachypelma hamorii, who just molted for the first time in about 3 years. No, I'm not kidding. Oh, not a fan of the light. Not the most laid back spider that I keep. I'm going to try to feed her. Hey girl, big fat juicy cricket. Please eat it. Come on, come on. I'd love to get this one on my camera. Come on. She's always been very shy. Oh, did she eat it? I think she grabbed it and continued to scrunch herself all up. Hopefully Billy can get spot her. This is the one I picked up, I believe. Oh, she's going into her burrow there. She's hiding. Anyway, picked this one up many, many years ago at about 3 inches, and she has grown painfully slow. For me, I've just spoken to somebody that had one go from, I think she said, 1/2 inch to 4 inches in a year, which is amazing. I don't believe she's lying, but it's just shocking to me because mine have all grown so slowly. But she actually, again, took 3 years between molts. She was eating okay. I thought I was going to get a molt out of her a while back. She stopped eating, but it took quite a while. So unfortunately, not a lot of good footage of her. We will go ahead and get her molt out of here for the people that think the molts kill the spiders. Anytime I do a video and leave a molt in here, somebody goes nuts over it. So unfortunately, not a lot of great footage of her there, but she is one that just molted. She is a very pretty spider. She is a hobby staple. This was the one originally sold to me as Smithy, and then we found out the Smithies were actually mislabeled hamorii, and the Smithies were Anitha, I think it was. So it's all screwed up, but this one should be hamorii, and unfortunately, we're not going to get a lot of footage of her. All right, so keeping with our Brachypelma species, we seem to be doing a lot of them. We're doing Brachypelma klaasi. Hopefully this one eats. Last time she was a little sheepish, but no sheepishness there. Beautiful spider. Again, this is one of the best freebies I ever received. I mean, I don't think I knew what I had at the time. I do now, though. Just an absolutely gorgeous spider. Not one you see all that much, although somebody was offering them not that long ago because somebody was asking me about the care of them because they had just picked up a sling. I'm going to do one more. There we go. Go ahead. You got this. You got this. Beautiful spiders, though. I'd say that about every single one. I just assume that every single spider I'm going to cover here is going to be called beautiful. Not quite as bright as some of the other Brachypelma species, but those soft pinks somehow almost are like more unique. A little close up. Boop. Beautiful spider. So that's for the Brachypelma fans out there. We'll try to get as many of the Brachypelmas as I got on here. It's kind of fun sometimes to do the themed feeding videos. So Brachypelma klaasi, Mexican pink. Its ability makes us all nauseous.
Sorry.
It was like way out there. All right. Oh, no. All right, so I'll hold this one up. This is my Brachypelma emilia, who is putting on size rather quickly for a brachy, but we'll go ahead and see if she'll eat. I'll get a little cricket for her. Hey, guys. No, there we go. You're going in. And no, we want to eat him. No, unfortunately, she doesn't seem to want to eat right now, but maybe we can get some good footage of her. Maybe she'll grab that cricket when it climbs up. No, unfortunately, she doesn't seem to be eating right now, but at least we got some footage of her in here for brachy fans. I'm very excited to grow this one up. It's kind of, it was a huge gaping hole in my collection for quite a few years that I didn't have B. emilia, so I'm glad to finally have one. And the fact that she's growing so quickly, I mean, I picked her up at about an inch, so she was already well started, but she's been eating like a pig and putting on quite a bit of size with each molt. So unfortunately, not a lot of action out of her, but there she is, Brachypelma emilia. Here we have my Aphonopelma seemanni. This was one of my few pet store quote-unquote rescues that I did a video on. We won't get into the whole pet rescue thing, but I'm glad I grabbed her because she's beautiful. And fun fact, the A. seemanni was actually the second tarantula I ever bought back in the 90s. And it ended up being a mature male and didn't last all that long, but boop. Oh, that was convenient. Hope we can get her to eat one more. I was kind of hoping we can get her out. And as you can see, she is actually still burrowed. Now I'm going to get her into a different enclosure. When I put her in this one, she was a little smaller. It's an 8x8x12 enclosure with about 6 or 7 inches of substrate, but I want to get her something a little larger. But I will allow her to still burrow. And what I'm finding is that the ones that are captive raised or captive bred don't tend to burrow as much as the ones that are unfortunately wild caught. So I have a funny feeling this one, when I got her, was a juvenile, was probably a wild caught specimen, hence the fact that she's hanging on to those burrowing instincts. So for folks to get these guys and they say, oh, mine's not burrowing, is mine broken? Nope, a lot of people will keep them terrestrially or give them the room to burrow. They won't burrow. That seems to be very natural. I do think it comes down to the fact that the wild caught ones have retained that instinct to burrow. But fortunately, she won't come out any longer, but you can see those beautiful legs there. Maybe we can zoom in on her a little bit. Oh yeah, just gorgeous spiders, and just so happy to have one in my collection again because it was her and the queen to start off. They were the ones that kind of kicked off, my fascination with tarantulas, and so it's nice to have one again. So there we go, Aphonopelma seemanni, the Costa Rican zebra tarantula. I'm going with that. It might not be right, but we're going with that. All right, so we had a lot of folks pick these up last time the slings were available, and they've been asking me for an update on mine. This is my Lasiodora Itabuna, who is not going to eat for us because, oh, did she grab it? All right, she's usually a voracious eater, just like any other Lasiodora species. I picked this one up from a place called Ken the Bug Guy, who I think, from what I've gathered, isn't doing it anymore, which is kind of a shame. It's kind of an older seller, but it was a non-sex juvenile, so I think it was about 2.5 inches at the time, and I was convinced that it was going to be a male, and nope, it's definitely a lady, a beautiful lady, who we've had for quite some time. This is the one my son actually did a, what was it? It was Roan, I believe, did a report for rainforest tarantulas or rainforest animals, and he did one on this, and we got molting footage for it and everything, so kind of got to be a big hit with his classmates. Big fat girl. Now she's, I think we measured her out, she's pushing 8 inches now. I think she was 7.5 after her last molt. This is one of the ones we featured in the giant spiders, but we did feature her, right? I lose track of what I do. I think we featured her. If not, she molted recently. Her molt was like 7.5 inches or so, or 7.25 inches. So she's a big girl, but not quite as big as my Lasiodora. Parahybana, she is a beast. So there we go, Lasiodora Itabuna, what is it, Itabuna Firehiney? Is this the Firehiney one? I just call everything Firehiney now. I just want all the tarantulas' red butts to be called Firehineys. Just has a ring to it. All right, and here we have my Poecilotheria formosa. This is the one that had the terrible molt that I ended up cutting the molt off of her. She ended up losing both of her pedipalps. She's been eating like a little pig, which has been great because I am hoping that she's going to come out of this molt, hopefully sooner than later, grow back those missing pedipalps. It'll be interesting to see that they'll be like little training pedipalps because they'll be smaller than what they would normally be, and hopefully get her stride back. She has been much more active. I have not been wounding crickets, although watch, I'll go to feed her here and she'll struggle with this one. She obviously, you can see that leg in the back over here that's kind of flopped forward. There are some legs that are causing her difficulty. I am hoping those heal up during the process. So I'm going to go ahead and try to feed her for the camera here. And there she goes. Boom. This thing just amazes me because the amount of damage she took in that molt, I honestly did not think she was going to survive. I took the footage of her and sat on it for a little while because I didn't think she was going to make it, a week. She's persevered, she's doing great, and now I just got to hope this has a happy ending and, a couple weeks, months or so down the road, she will molt out and look, back to her regular self. So there we go. Poecilotheria formosa, she's still doing well. I did tell people I wasn't going to do an update until after she molted, so I feel like I'm jinxing myself here, but I have so many people ask about it, I figured it'd be a good way to close this video off. All right, so again, hopefully some folks who have been asking about that P. formosa are pleased to see that she's still doing well. But again, I didn't want to do this one because I don't want to jinx it. Although she seems to be eating well, she seems to be much more lively. She's taking down crickets that don't have to be named. I am still concerned that there could be issues when she goes to finally molt. So fingers crossed that will come sooner than later and things will go well. As for the rest of them, it was fun showing off some of the Brachypelma species. I just wish they had all eaten. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you like it enough to subscribe, very much appreciated. You click the little circle right up in there. If you want to check out some more videos, see what I'm about, you will find them over in here. If you leave a comment, no, I will respond to the comment, but it can take me a little while because, well, quite frankly, times have premium lately, so I'm struggling to keep up. But you comment, I'll get back to you. That'll do it for this one, guys. Stay safe. We'll catch you all next time.